Okay, students, listen carefully. What is the first question, dear students? The first question what they're asked, we know very well already. This question, this concept we are discussed in chemical bonding chapter perfectly. Okay, the most suitable method for the separation of ortho and para nitrophenol mixtures means this is orthonitrophenol. Okay, students. Orthonitrophenol, and second one is paranitrophenol. This is the paranitrophenol. This is ortho and this is para. Nitrophenol like is present. So how can we separate these mixtures when they are present in 1:1 ratio? So what is the suitable method? The suitable method is steam distillation. Why means because this orthonitrophenol can able to forms can easily able to forms having intramolecular hydrogen bond, and this compound having intermolecular hydrogen bonding. It has intermolecular hydrogen bond. Okay, students. So due to this difference in their hydrogen bonding, their boiling points difference is came. So due to the presence of intramolecular hydrogen bonding, this ortho compound has a low boiling point and more volatile nature. Okay, students, low boiling point and more volatile nature, and solubility is less. Solubility is less. So here reverse. And what about this compound, dear students? That paranitrophenol, boiling point is more, and vapor pressure. That volatile nature means vapor pressure is nothing but vapor pressure for intramolecular hydrogen bonding is more. Here the vapor pressure or volatile nature is low because the boiling point is inversely proportional to vapor pressure. Already we know that we are studied in solutions and colligative properties chapter, and solubility is more. Solubility is more. Okay, students, due to this difference in their properties, why this properties difference came means because orthonitrophenol having intramolecular hydrogen bonding, whereas paranitrophenol having intermolecular hydrogen bonding. So due to this property, difference in their boiling points, boiling point difference is present means we can separate out that mixtures by using steam distillation technique, by using steam distillation method. Okay, students, so the answer is first one, C option. Let's see the second question, correct IUPAC nomenclature. So once you are observed that here two functional groups are present in the given organic compound. So what is this functional group, dear students? This is aldehyde functional group, aldehyde, and this functional group is ketone. When a organic compound having more than two functional groups are present, then one functional group we have to consider as a most priority functional group, means that priority order is there. So in that aldehydes are more priority than ketones. Aldehydes are more priority than ketones. That's why aldehydes are more priority means there goes to least numbering, least number, because of aldehydes are more priority. That's why that least number means aldehyde CHO group, that this is the functional group goes to least number, then we have to consider as functional group. Then automatically this ketone we have to consider as a substituent or prefix. This we have to consider as a prefix. Okay, this is that C double bond O H. This is the first carbon. According to that, we have to identify longest carbon chain. 2 and that 3, 4, 5 and 6 carbons are present in the longest carbon chain, and third carbon C double bond O or oxygen substance is present, and at second carbon CH3 substance is present, and the double bond position is in between 4 and 5 carbons. That least number for double bond is 4. Now its correct IUPAC nomenclature is, once you observe that oxo, this we can write as ketone as a substance. This is as a prefix. Its name is keto or oxo. Keto or oxo, like we can write. At the same way, CH3 group is a prefix. Its name is methyl. And double bond position is at fourth carbon 4En. Okay, and CHO is the functional group. The functional group, aldehyde functional group, IUPAC nomenclature is Al, all. Okay, and root word is RW. Root word is longest carbon chain. How many carbon atoms are present, dear students? 6 carbons are present. Then it is a hex. Okay, and on that root word, double bond is present means En, hexene means 4-hexene, and aldehyde functional group is there means hexenol. Now its correct IUPAC nomenclature is 3-keto, because according that alphabetical rule, K will comes K 11, K alphabet 11 and M 13. That's why its correct IUPAC nomenclature is 3-keto, 2-methyl, hex, 4-enol or hex 4-en-1-ol. Like that also we can write. But functional group is, position is first carbon means that no need to identify the first carbon, first position. That's why the correct IUPAC nomenclature is 3-keto, 2-methyl, hex 4-enol. Otherwise this 4 we can write before also, no problem. 4-hexenol. 4-hexenol is also correct. Otherwise this keto place we can write like this also. What it is? 3-oxo, 2-methyl, but oxo option is not there. That's why we have to follow keto only. 3-oxo, 2-methyl, 4-hexene, 1-ol. They also correct only. So that correct answer is a second option. Okay, students. So for this chapter, IUPAC nomenclature is also very, very important. And identification of aromatic compounds and non-aromatic compounds, that concept is also very, very important. Okay, let's listen. Next, third question. What is that given third question, dear students? We have to identify the correct statement regarding electrophiles. Electrophile. What is electrophile? Electrophile. The symbol is E. The electrophiles are nothing but electron deficient species. They may be positive or neutral. Neutral molecules are ions. Neutral molecules are ions and having electron deficiency. Deficiency called as a electrophile. So you think always the electrophile means positive ions, always electrophile, because the positive charge means electron deficient species only. And neutral, some of the neutral molecules also they are having electron deficiency is present, like Lewis acids. All Lewis acids are electrophiles only, because the Lewis acids means they are accepting electron pairs because of the presence of electron deficiency. So those are called as a electrophile. So the Lewis acids belongs to electrophiles only. The Lewis acids are belongs to electrophiles only. Okay, students. Now we have to identify that correct statement regarding that electrophiles. These electrophiles are electron deficient species. They bonds with nucleophiles. Why they bonds with nucleophiles, dear student? The nucleophiles are electron rich species because they can donate electron pairs. Means electrophile accepting electron pairs from the nucleophiles and forms bonds with the nucleophiles are electron rich species. So the correct answer is the electrophile can either neutral or positively charged species and can form bond by accepting pair of electrons from nucleophiles. So the correct answer is C. Third statement is correct. Okay, students, and let's listen carefully, dear students. That fourth question. This fourth one, which of the following molecule exhibits tautomerism? Keto, enol, tautomerism. Keto-enol tautomerism. What is the keto-enol tautomerism? Keto-enol tautomerism means hydrogen atom or alpha hydrogen atoms from sp3 carbon is shifted to carbonyl oxygen, or from OH group to hydrogen is shifted from OH group to adjacent sp2 carbon is known as a keto-enol tautomerism. Is known as keto-enol tautomerism. So what is the necessity conditions for exhibiting keto-enol tautomerism? Let's see the conditions. That keto-enol tautomerism conditions, if you are observed that, what is the condition, dear students? At least, first one, at least one alpha hydrogen or at least one hydrogen, alpha hydrogen means at least one hydrogen atom containing alpha carbon, or at least one alpha hydrogen containing sp3 carbon attached to C double bond O group. Attached to C double bond O group. And second condition, the OH group. OH group means this is for keto form. Is for keto form. And the second enol form, that enol, because it is tautomerism means the keto form is converted into enol form and enol form is converted into keto form. What is enol form? Enol form means OH group is directly attached to sp2 carbon, then it is called enol. That enol hydrogen will be shifted to adjacent sp2 carbon, then we will get keto form. That's why second condition, the OH group directly attached to sp2 carbon, then they exhibits tautomerism. And another important condition, dear students, note additional exceptions. For example, the alpha hydrogen atom, bridged alpha hydrogen atoms are present, does not involve in tautomerism. If bridged alpha hydrogen atoms present does not involve in tautomerism. Even that bridged carbon has sp3 carbon having hydrogen atoms present also, that alpha hydrogen atoms does not involve in a tautomerism. Okay, because of it is a bridged carbon, has high strain, more strain will be present. That's why it does not involve in a tautomerism. Okay, this is the first point. The second point is, one more thing is, For example, like this compound, if you are updated that, is it involves in tautomerism or not, will get out. This is that carbonyl carbon, and this adjacent carbon is alpha carbon and no alpha hydrogens. Alpha carbon, alpha sp3 carbon, no alpha hydrogens here. But right side, no alpha hydrogen atoms. Left side, if you are updated that, this is alpha dash and beta dash. Next one is gamma dash. Now this is in conjugation. This is in the double bond is in conjugation, and this gamma carbon has hydrogen atoms are present. These hydrogen atoms are gamma sp3 carbon containing hydrogen atoms are in conjugation with C double bond O group. Hence, involved in tautomerism. Involved in a tautomerism. Then that this rearrangement will be takes place like this. Now the resultant compound here, the single bond, that gamma hydrogen will be shifted to carbonyl oxygen, and in between that gamma carbon and beta carbon double bond will forms, and next like this OH group will forms, remaining as this. Okay, so this is also tautomerism, one more exception. These are the main importance of tautomerism or keto-enol tautomerism. Now you have to identify that which compound involves in tautomerism. Let's see that first one, this C double bond O group, attached carbons. This is one alpha and it is also alpha carbons, but these are bridged carbons, bridged hydrogens, and it is also bridged hydrogens both. That's why it does not involve. Now let's see that here, this is alpha carbon and bridged, and this is another alpha carbon, but no alpha hydrogens. But in the second compound, no alpha hydrogens, no alpha hydrogen. But in third one, if you observe that here, hydrogen atoms are present, sp3 carbon, alpha sp3 carbon has two alpha hydrogens are present. That's why minimum one alpha hydrogen is required. That's why this compound involves in tautomerism. This compound involved in tautomerism. This is the keto form. That alpha carbon containing hydrogens. One hydrogen will be shifted from sp3 carbon to adjacent carbonyl group, carbonyl oxygen. Then we'll get enol product is being like this. So this third one only involved in tautomerism. So the answer is A option. A option is correct. Okay, students. So this is about tautomerism, the total explained. So once again, you have to remember carefully. Okay, and very, very important. So this kind of questions mostly they are asking in NEET and JEE examination. They will give some compounds. We have to identify which compound exhibits tautomerism and which compounds does not exhibit tautomerism. Okay, students. So conditions I said, and exceptional conditions also I said. And in the given compounds, if you observe that bicyclic compounds, the bicyclic compounds means two rings are connected at one carbon, that is called bridged carbons. That bridged carbons, in between the bridged carbon, carbonyl group is present in first compound. Okay, and two bridged carbons are alpha carbons only. The bridged carbons containing hydrogen atoms does not involve in tautomerism. So that's why first compound is not eligible for exhibiting tautomerism. The same way second compound, one side bridged carbon is there, another side normal sp3 carbon is there, but no alpha hydrogens because both two phenyl rings are attached. So alpha hydrogens are absent. But third one, two alpha hydrogens are present. It is bridged, but it does not participate. But it is normal sp3 carbon having two alpha hydrogens, it involved in tautomerism. That's why the correct answer is a third option, third compound. The third compound where it is present in first option is correct. Okay, students, and let's go for next question. See, this is also related to tautomerism only. Among the following, which compound exhibits tautomerism? Okay, once you observe that this carbonyl group, C double bond O group, this is alpha carbon, and this is also alpha carbon, alpha, but it is sp2 and it is a sp3, like this present. Okay, and it is sp3 alpha carbon has how many hydrogen atoms are present, dear students? Two hydrogen atoms are there, at least one is enough, but it is sp2, but either any side, because ketones means C double bond O group will be present, like the right side alpha carbons are present and left side alpha carbons also be present. Now this involved in tautomerism, that's why it exhibits tautomerism. And second, you see here is present, and here two alpha hydrogens are present. This is alpha sp3 carbon has two alpha hydrogen atoms are present. That's why this is also involved in tautomerism. Now third one, the third one is exceptional condition, dear students. Now here this is alpha carbon, alpha sp3 carbon and no alpha hydrogens, and this side double bond is present, no alpha hydrogen atoms. But this is next carbon, let's see, this is alpha sp2 carbon, it is conjugation with C double bond O group, alpha beta, and this is gamma carbon, gamma sp3 carbon. This has gamma hydrogen atoms are present. These gamma hydrogen atoms are in conjugation with carbonyl group. Then this double bond will shift and produce that enol product is being like this. Okay, students. Now this is the enol product. That's why the third compound also exhibits a tautomerism. So the answer is 1, 2, 3. So 1, 2, 3 means second option is correct. Now let's see the sixth question. Consider that following compounds which exhibits hyperconjugation. Which exhibits a hyperconjugation. So we have to know about that hyperconjugation conditions. Hyperconjugation. Okay, students, what is that hyperconjugation condition? At least one alpha hydrogen atom containing sp3 carbon. At least one alpha hydrogen atom containing sp3 carbon attached to sp2 carbon. sp2 carbon means double bond or carbocations are carbon free radicals. Okay, double bonds or carbocations are carbon free radicals. Then it exhibits a hyperconjugation. Exhibits a hyperconjugation. Okay, students, listen. Now the sixth question. What they gave sixth question, dear students? We have to identify. We have to identify hyperconjugation. Which compound exhibits or to shows hyperconjugation? Okay, that we have to identify. What is the hyperconjugation condition? I said, dear students, hyperconjugation condition is hyperconjugation condition at least one alpha hydrogen containing sp3 carbon. Okay, sp3 carbon attached to sp2 carbon. sp2 carbons means what are those sp2 carbon, dear students? Double bond or carbocations or carbon free radicals. These double bonds hybridization is sp2, carbocation hybridization is sp2, and carbon free radical hybridization is also sp2. Okay, students, then they exhibits hyperconjugation. Okay, now we have to identify that. For example, first compound, if you observe that CH free radical, benzyl free radical, this free radical, the right side there is no sp3, it is sp2 carbon, not sp3, and this is sp3 carbon only. This is alpha sp3 carbon, but no alpha hydrogens. That's why does not shows hyperconjugation. And let's see the second one. The second one is that triphenyl tertiary free radical, like this free radical attached carbons all are sp2 carbons. So that sp2 carbon is attached to sp3 carbon is required, but these all benzene ring, that carbon free radical attached carbon is phenyl, that phenyl carbon hybridization is sp2. That's why there is no hyperconjugation structures, no hyperconjugation. Next, the third one is if you observe that third molecule, CH3, this is the free radical. This free radical now it involves in hyperconjugation because it is adjacent alpha carbon. It is alpha sp3 carbon has one alpha hydrogen is present, and this right side bridged carbon 1 2 3, this bridged carbon is also alpha sp3 carbon having alpha hydrogen, one alpha hydrogen. Alpha hydrogen atoms are present means it shows hyperconjugation. It shows hyperconjugation. So the answer is the third one only. So third one only present means first option. Okay, students, let's listen. Next, seventh question. Seventh question. So in the seventh question, what they are asked, dear students, which of the following species or compounds contains equal number of sigma and pi bonds? So the sigma and pi bonds must should be equal. Such type of compound we have to observe. Okay, now let's see the first one. Cn twice. Cn twice means the structure is being like this: carbon and C triple bond N. Now it contains In between the multiple bonds are present means one is sigma, the remaining are pi. Means 1, 2, 3. 3 sigma plus 4 pi bonds are present. Means both are not equal. Now the second B compound, just you have to observe that CH2 CN twice. Means that carbon is connected with 2 hydrogens and 2 CN groups. CN means C triple bond N. Now it contains 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 sigma and 4 pi bonds are present. Means both are not equal. Sigma and pi bonds are not equal. Next one is bicarbonate ion, HCO3 minus. That HCO3 minus structure is being like that. C double bond O, OH, and another one is O minus. That O minus means it is a single bond only. It is sigma. Means it contains that oxygen and hydrogen. Here one more sigma bond. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 sigma and 1 pi bond is present. Now the D option, XeO4. XeO4 means xenon is the central atom. It has bonded with 4 oxygen atoms. So because xenon has 8 valence electrons are present, that 8 valence electrons are all involved with bonding with 4 hydrogens. Then all over there is no lone pairs. That's it. This compound hybridization is sp3 and tetrahedral, and it contains 4 sigma bonds and 4 pi bonds are present. So the answer is D option. The D option is correct. Okay, students. And let's go for 8th question. 8th question. So they gave one structure name. We have to identify the correct structure. So what is the name of this compound here, students? The compound name is 3-ethyl. Okay, 3-ethyl 2-hydroxy 4-methyl 3-in-5-ine oic acid. Oic acid means the functional group is, from this compound, functional group is acid, COOH. Okay, functional group is acid. It contains the double bond is present at third. The double bond is present at third position, and triple bond is present at this is the double bond. This is the triple bond position at 5th carbon, and at 4th carbon one CH3 substance is present, and at 2nd carbon OH substance is present, and at 3rd carbon C2H5 group is present, ethyl group is present, like that. And root word is 3-ethyl 2-hydroxy 4-methyl hex. 4-methyl hex means the root word is 6 carbons. 6 carbons present on the root word. Hex 3-in-5-ionoic acid. Hex 3-in-5-ionoic acid. This is the root word. So 6 carbon atoms should be present on the root word. Once you are observed that this D option, this is the first carbon, functional group 1 and 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. Okay, now this compound that the OH substance is present at second. OH is present at second carbon. Okay, next the triple bond, double bond is present at third, and at third carbon ethyl substance is also present. At third double bond is present, and C2H5 group is also present. This is C2H5 group, and 4th carbon CH3 substance is present, and 5th carbon triple bond is present. So that's why that correct name regarding that name, the correct structure is D option. So the structure is being like this. triple bond, and here the double bond, and here the OH group, and COOH group is being like this. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 carbons is the root word. So the root word is 6 carbons. On the root word, the functional group is acid, and the OH group, and ethyl group, and methyl. These all are substance. Okay, so the answer is a D option. Okay, students, let's listen 9th question. Ninth question ma? Yes. Actually, while you are studying that hyperconjugation, important applications of hyperconjugation, if you observe that the hyperconjugation mainly explains the stability of alkenes and stability of carbocations and stability of carbon free radicals, alkyl carbon free radicals, alkyl carbon free radical stability and alkyl carbocations stability, carbocation stability, and alkenes stability hyperconjugation concept explained. So the number of hyperconjugation structures increases, then the stability of alkenes or stability of carbocations or stability of carbon free radicals increases. So here we have to arrange the 3 compounds, 3 different carbocations they gave, 5 they gave. Among that 5 correct increasing stability order we have to write. So this carbocation stability, carbocation stability is directly proportional to plus I groups and inversely proportional to minus I groups, and is also directly proportional to hyperconjugation structures. HC means hyperconjugations. Hyperconjugation structures. How to calculate hyperconjugation structures? The number of hyperconjugation structures is equals to number of alpha hydrogen atoms plus 1. Then it gives a number of hyperconjugation structures. So generally, now if you observe that the given compounds, first one, this side CH2, CH3, and this side 2 methyl substances are present, and it is tertiary carbocation. Tertiary carbocation. Okay, students. Now the second one, if you observe that it is also trimethyl carbocation, means tertiary butyl carbocation. These all are, this is because this is sp2 carbon and remaining adjacent are sp3 carbons. So how many alpha hydrogens? Number of, this is also tertiary carbocation. So both are tertiary carbocations. Then which carbocation is more stable? Like we'll get confused because it is ethyl is there and it is methyl and is present. Then you have to compare hyperconjugation structures. Number of alpha hydrogens is equal to, at this compound, number of alpha hydrogens equals to, here alpha carbon, alpha sp3 carbon, and this is also alpha sp3 carbon with respect to carbocations with respect to carbon positive charge. This is also sp3 carbon. So like 3 plus 3 plus 2 means 8 alpha hydrogens are there. Number of hyperconjugation structures is equals to 8 plus 1 9. Now here number of alpha hydrogens equals to 3, and here 3 and here 3. 9 are present. Then hyperconjugation structures, 9 plus 1 equals to 10. That's why the second compound is more stable when compared to first compound. Okay, remaining 1, 2, 3 and 4, 5, if you observe that there no problem. Third one is secondary carbocation, like 2 methyl groups are present, CH3. And here alpha hydrogens 6 are present. Hyperconjugation structure 7 will come. HC7. Next, fourth one, ethyl CH3 bond CH2 plus. Now here alpha hydrogens 3 are present, hyperconjugation structures 4 are present. Next 5 CH3 plus. Here no alpha hydrogens, no alpha hydrogens. Okay, no hyperconjugation structures. Does not exhibit hyperconjugation. Now, among that, which is more stable, dear students? The second one is more stable. Next, first one. Second, first, next, third, fourth, fifth. Third, fourth, fifth. So the answer is first option. So the correct stability order is 2 is more stable than 1, and then 3, and then 4, and then 5. See, in the same place, this carbocation, carbon positive charge is present, or free radical is present, either positive charge or free radical. Carbon free radical. Also, their stability will be same. It will be same. Like, see that. First, I will explain that 11th question. 11th question and 9th question, same pattern. In that homolytic fission of the given alkanes, then forming different types of carbon free radicals, the stability orders we have to explain. See, this is like on this carbon free radical, this is only this carbon free radical having one side ethyl group is there, another side, and 11th question. Another side, 2 methyls are present, and B is the B free radical is like another free radical is tertiary butyl free radical they gave, another secondary free radical they gave, and ethyl free radical and methyl free radical they gave. So in that case, the correct answer is let's see that 11th question. The correct answer is this. Is more stable than H3 CH2 radical and then CH3 radical. So the like option is present in a B answer. B is the correct answer. Okay. And the 10th question, if you are observed that in the 10th question, what they gave, dear students? Benzyl carbocation they gave. This is the benzyl carbocation. Okay. This carbocation, carbon hybridization. What is the carbon hybridization? So carbocations, carbon hybridization is sp2. How to calculate, dear students? Already in chemical bonding chapter I said dot method. You follow the dot method. Carbon is the central atom. So the carbon is the central atom. It contains 4 valence electrons. Among that 4 valence electrons, positive charge is present, means it has only 3 valence electrons are present. Now it has 2 hydrogens and 1 phenyl bond is present, like single bonds. So it has 3 sigma bond pairs plus 0 lone pairs, means total 3 are present, 3 hybrid orbitals. 3 hybrid orbitals means sp2 hybridization. sp2 hybridization. Same Carbocations are carbon free radicals, both are having sp2 hybridization only. Okay, that's why their carbocations and carbon free radicals almost same, but carbanions like CH3 minus, this carbanion, that carbon hybridization is sp3 because the carbon has 4 valence electrons and negative charge is present, means one more electron will comes. Is accepting one electron, that's why negative charge is present. Total 5. Out of that 5, 3 are bonding with hydrogens. One lone pair is there. Means 3 sigma bond pairs plus one lone pair for carbanions. Then total 4 hybrid orbitals are present. Okay. That's why its hybridization is sp3 and pyramidal shape. Okay, students, this is about carbanions. Carbanion stability is completely opposite to the carbocation stability. Is opposite to the carbocation stability. You have to remember that. Okay, and listen carefully, dear students. 12th question. We have to write the correct IUPAC name. If you are the given compound, if you are observed that. Okay, this is the given compound. We have to identify the longest carbon chain, and more priority goes to double bond. So that's why from this double bonded carbon, we have to identify the longest carbon chain. 1, 2, 3. The longest carbon chain with more substance. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now this is the longest carbon chain. So the root word is 6 carbons. Root word is 6 carbon atoms are present, and double bond goes to more priority, and the substance are this side 3 carbons containing substance, means propyl substance, 3 propyl substance is present, and here 4 ethyl substance is present. At 4th carbon ethyl substance is present, but according to alphabetical rule, ethyl first we have to write, then propyl, because E letter will comes first. That's its correct IUPAC name is 4-ethyl, 3-propyl, hex 1-ene or hexene, or hex 1-ene or hexene. So the answer is first option is correct. Okay, students, this is about 12th question, and let's listen 13th question. 13th question. Among the following compounds, the one that is more reactive towards electrophilic nitration reactions, means electrophilic substitution reactions of benzene ring, means electrophilic substitution reactions. Okay, so let's listen carefully, dear students. Electrophilic nitration of benzene or nitration reaction is electrophilic substitution reactions. So electrophilic substitution reactions okay, is very, very important. So that electrophilic substitution reactions, generally ESR, electrophilic substitution reactions, generally the electrophilic substitution reactions directly proportional to the rate is directly proportional to electron donating groups, and is inversely proportional to electron withdrawing groups, and is inversely proportional to electron withdrawing groups. Okay, students, now the given compounds, if you observe that, first one benzoic acid, the second one is nitrobenzene, and the third one is toluene, CH3, and the fourth one is benzene. So the benzene, there is no substance, and the CH3 is electron donating group, means plus I groups, and this NO2 and COH are the minus I groups, are electron withdrawing groups, and more electron withdrawing group is NO2. It is a strong electron withdrawing group among these all. That's why the electron withdrawing group is increases, then the rate will be decreases, and that's why ESR reactions, electrophilic substitution reactions, rate for this is toluene is more. Next benzene. Next one is benzoic acid. Among these four, I am giving the order. And next is nitrobenzene. Next is nitrobenzene. So the answer is, which is more reactive towards nitration or electrophilic substitution reactions, are electrophilic nitration reaction means toluene. So the answer is third one. Okay. The same way, for example, substituted benzene means actually aromatic compounds are highly reactive towards electrophilic substitution reactions only, because the aromatic compounds are high electron density is present. That's why the electrophile can be substituted at any one of the carbon on benzene ring. That's why they can easily involve in electrophilic substitution reactions. If the aromatic compounds has any substance are present, that substance like COH, NO2 or CH3 or halogens, like the substance, then the rate of electrophilic substitution reactions depends on the nature of the substance. The rate of electrophilic substitution reaction, the rate of electrophilic substitution reaction is directly proportional to electron donating groups and inversely proportional to electron withdrawing groups. Okay, but under rare conditions, the aromatic compounds involved in nucleophilic substitution reactions like aryl halides, then it is reverse. Means the aryl halides means halogen containing compounds. This is halogen containing compounds. These their nucleophilic substitution reaction rate is directly proportional to electron withdrawing groups and is inversely proportional to electron donating group. This is aryl halides. For aryl halides, halogen X means either chlorine or bromine or iodine. Like aryl halides undergoes less reactive towards nucleophilic substitution reaction because the halogen is attached to sp2 carbon, and alkyl halides can easily involve in nucleophilic substitution reaction, then produce RNA. That is called nucleophilic substitution reactions. Rate nucleophilic substitution reaction rate of alkyl halides are more than aryl halides. Why means here the halogen attached carbon is sp3 carbon and their bond dissociation energy is low, but here the halogen attached carbon hybridization is sp2 carbon and bond dissociation energy is more. That's why aryl halides are less reactive towards nucleophilic substitution reaction, but the aryl halides nucleophilic substitution reaction rate increased by the electron withdrawing groups. Okay, under special conditions. That related questions also very, very important. Okay, students, let's listen 14th question. This 14th question, which compound undergoes nucleophilic substitution reactions most easily? If you are observed that this is chlorobenzene. If you are observed that chlorobenzene, and it is also chlorobenzene, and it is also chlorobenzene, then it is chlorobenzene. So already I said aryl halides nucleophilic substitution reactions increased by the electron withdrawing group. So this is electron withdrawing group. Okay, and this is a electron donating group. electron donating group, and this is also electron donating group. So this is only electron withdrawing group. That's why it's more reactive towards a nucleophilic substitution reaction. Means para-nitrochlorobenzene is more reactive when compared to chlorobenzene or paramethyl chlorobenzene or paramethoxychlorobenzene. So 14th question answer is first one. Okay, students. Let's see the 15th question. 15th question. We have to identify that in the given reactions. What we have to identify, dear students, which is nucleophilic substitution reaction. Nucleophilic substitution reactions. Okay, let's here observe that the first one. This first one is addition of water in acidic medium. Then just we are adding water molecule H plus and OH minus. So according to Markovnikov rule, then H plus ion is added at more hydrogens containing double bonded carbon, and OH minus is added at less hydrogens containing double bonded carbon. This is Markovnikov addition reaction. These Markovnikov addition reactions are electrophilic addition reactions. These are the electrophilic addition reactions. Okay, this is electrophilic addition reaction. And the second one, if you observe that B reaction is nothing but nucleophilic addition followed by elimination, so followed by hydrolysis. Nucleophilic addition means the Grignard reagent R-MgX. Then it acts as a nucleophile. It will be added at here. Then produce RO MgX, and here R dash and H is on hydrolysis in acidic medium will get alcohols, means the product is RCH OH bond R dash. This reaction is nucleophilic addition followed by hydrolysis. Reaction. Let's see the third one. The third one is, this is alkyl halides and it acts as a nucleophile. Then is attacking that this carbon, and Br minus is leaving, loss of HBr. Then we are getting amines. So alkyl halides, like this is nothing but alkyl halide. These alkyl halides are reacts with ammonia. This ammonia acts as a nucleophile. And here the positive charge and here negative charge to produce loss of X minus or NH3 plus and loss of H plus, because NH3 plus means to reduce this positive charge, then H plus will loss of H plus, then produce R and H2. This H plus and X minus convert into HX. So that amine, that halogen is replaced by NH2 group. That's why it is called as a nucleophilic substitution reaction. So already I said alkyl halides easily involved in nucleophilic substitution reactions. And D, addition of hydrogen cyanide to the carbonyl compounds is a nucleophilic addition reaction. CH3 C double bond O H is reacts with hydrogen cyanide. That Cn minus first is adding at carbonyl carbon, because here the positive charge and oxygen having negative charge. Then H plus is adding at O minus, and completely the hydrogen cyanide is added at carbonyl carbon. Then the product is CH3 COH bond CnH. This is cyanogen hydride. It is nucleophilic addition reactions. addition reactions. Okay, students. So now what do we want? Among that 4 options, we have to identify nucleophilic substitution reaction. The nucleophilic substitution reaction is C. Okay. Now, and one more thing, types of reactions we must have to remember carefully, and examples also we have to remember. What are the different types of reactions are present here, students? One is addition reactions. That addition reactions again 3 types: nucleophilic addition, electrophilic addition, and free radical addition. Okay, and the second one is a substitution reaction. So that examples and all we have to remember carefully, then only we can solve organic chemistry questions very easily. Substitution means again nucleophilic substitution reaction. So mostly alkyl halide they involves. The second one is electrophilic substitution reaction, means aromatic compounds involves. And free radical substitution reactions means alkanes most probably involved in a free radical substitution reaction. So alkanes reaction with halogens is example for free radical substitution reactions. So benzene and its derivatives reaction with electrophiles, that is called electrophilic substitution reactions. So that nucleophilic substitution reaction most probably involved alkyl halides. Next one is elimination reactions. Elimination reactions. And next one is rearrangement reactions. Rearrangement reactions. Next, polymerization reactions. Okay, these are different types of organic reactions. Those all we have to observe carefully and we have to remember. Then only we can solve organic chemistry very easily. And let's see that 16th question, dear students. 16, 17, both are same models only. Now the 16th question, CH3, CH, double bond CH, bond C, triple bond CH like the present. So now then we have to identify the positions of double bond and triple bond. If you are giving that positions from right side to left side, 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5, then the double bond 1 and 3 came, and least sum rule we have to follow. And if left side to right side, if we gave 5 and the double bond position 2 came and triple bond position 4 came, 2 plus 4 is equals to 6, and here 1 plus 3 is equals to 4. Least sum rule, least sum we have to take. That's why this is correct and it is wrong. So according that its IUPAC name, and double bond IUPAC name is in, the triple bond IUPAC name is YN. That's why while writing the name double bond, first we have to write, later and triple bond it will comes. So according to that, correct IUPAC name is 1. The root word is total how many carbons, dear students? Root word 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 carbons are present. Means pent 3 ion, 3 in 1 ion is the correct answer. 1 ion. Pent 3, 1, 2, 3. Pent 3 in 1 ion. B is the correct answer. And the same way, the 17th question, if you observe that, what is the difference between the 17 and 16 questions? The double bond and triple bonds are ends. One is